Welcome to The Clean Slate with your hosts, Daniel Garza and Carson Phillips, providing you with movie news, reviews, and more. Sit back, relax, and don't forget to go to the concessions to get your popcorn and drinks. For your entertainment, this is The Clean Slate Podcast.
Welcome back to The Clean Slate Podcast. I'm Carson Phillips. That's Daniel Garza, and we're a day away from Halloween?
Yeah, this is it. This is Halloween's Eve.
Yeah, you heard it here first, ghouls and gals.
Ghouls.
The specters are coming. The fog is descending upon your town. Little kids in Darth Vader costumes are gonna come out.
Johnny is here.
Grab you.
Yep.
They want your candy. And if you don't have candy, they're gonna take something else.
They're gonna trick you. Anyway.
Treat you. Trick or Treat. If you guys, we reviewed it before, but you guys should watch Trick or Treat. If you haven't seen it, it's like the best Halloween movie. So
okay,
good.
guys. Well, for the next 2 nights, we have double features for you because you know us. We couldn't just stick to actually 31 movies in 31 days. We had to do more because we hate ourselves. So tonight we have a show
than the rest, dude.
and a movie.
Ooh, tradition. We did a show last year.
What was the show?
We did Over the Garden Wall.
You're right, and they're always cartoon. Well, I guess this is.
And now we're doing
all right.
Anime.
Now we're doing
cartoon,
Uzumaki.
whatever.
The population of Kuruzu is slowly driven mad by their growing obsession with spiral shapes, finding them everywhere with shocking and horrifying results. So this is Carson's pick. He really wanted to check this out, and obviously I am very open-minded as a viewer of the arts, and Carson actually has the manga book right there. Yep. That's it.
Let's see. Should I show something gross? You guys want to see something
I don't
nasty?
know if we can do this. Yeah, but we probably can. Anyway,
Sue me, Junji Ito.
okay.
He won't. He's nice.
So as always, when we talk about a show, we just kind of discuss the whole show and not necessarily individual episodes. As if it were a movie. And technically, this runtime is probably about the length of a feature film of 4 episodes.
It honestly probably should have just been edited
together
as a film.
Yeah.
Because it cuts some stuff out from the manga, so I'm like, just make it a film.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's dislike, perhaps.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, so Uzumaki, if you guys aren't familiar, I think a lot of you probably will be if you're watching this.
Okay.
Unless you're our friends and family, then you might not
You
be.
know nothing.
But it comes from the manga by Junji Ito, which he's known as like probably the best horror mangaka, is what they would say. And he's really good at it. He has crazy depictions and whatnot. And so people have been kind of hankering for a good adaptation of his work. So there was a live action Uzumaki. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's bad. I can't imagine what that even looks like. Like snail people in live action.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, and then there's been a couple Netflix adaptations of other works from him that suck, in my opinion. So when everyone kind of got excited when Adult Swim announced, like, hey, we're going to adapt Uzumaki. And it's going to be in black and white, and it's going to look sick. And it does. And so essentially the plot is we have this small town in Japan where people in the city start to get obsessed with the spiral, basically. And what that actually is, like, it's a shape, but there's more to it than that.
Goes deeper.
That you kind of get through watching. Yeah, it goes deeper, perhaps. And then we kind of get these vignettes of different ways this obsession is affecting people throughout the town.
Yeah.
But we're following one main character through this and like her reactions to all the chaos around her, and inevitably she gets involved and roped into it. And it kind of becomes like post-apocalyptic towards the end there. But it starts out more grounded and creepy, and then spirals out of control.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I've been saving that one.
Okay, guys, so likes and dislikes. So likes for me is this is pretty much very early stages of me watching anime. Haven't been a huge...
This is Daniel's first anime outside of Pokemon.
Yeah. No, I've watched One Punch.
Okay, that's fair.
And then there was one other one.
Naruto?
No, I didn't watch Naruto.
Dragon Ball.
No, it wasn't a kid one. It was a Netflix one.
Oh.
I mean, it's the one... Is One Punch the one with the hat? What's the kid with the hat?
Yeah, that's One Punch.
Oh, okay, then yeah, no, never mind. I've only seen that.
That's like the main one. That's like everyone loves One
Okay.
Punch Man.
So anyway,
Oh, are you talking about One Piece? Actually, the one with the hat, like the pirate
yes.
hat? That's One Piece. Yeah, that's
And
One
then there
Piece.
is
One Punch
One
Man is like
Punch Man.
superhero.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay, so that's also I've seen both of those. So anyway, likes for me is that first of all, the artwork in this is insanely good. Like that was the first thing off the bat, that it feels cinematic without actually being cinematic. So that was really interesting to me. I also thought that kind of getting right into it once you start it, like me going in, I've never read the manga. I've never like really had any of the background, the lore of all this, but it gets right into it. Like right when you start the episode, you're just like deep in like the horror aspect of the show, which I was like, oh my gosh.
Do you feel like you understood like pretty right away what was happening?
I mean,
or like a general sense.
I think this show is. I mean, I don't know the full thing, but I think this show did really well in like kind of their still allowing to be questions of like what's actually going on, but also being along for the ride and how can we stop it, and then the I guess the escalation of everything, like right, it's like the twisters, or not the twisters, the whirlwinds, and then the then the father following the father and all that type of stuff, and then the whole city is just being overtaken. So the story in it is really, really cool, and I loved that about this show. But again, it's my first time watching something like this. It's really different than like what's really mainstream, I guess. Because I guess this is kind of mainstream, but there's like a specific
it's
pocket.
mainstream now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's kind of hard to say it's fully mainstream. It is and it isn't. I
guess. I was gonna say it's kind of got its like niche, but yeah, at the same time, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. The way that they also like so spoiler alert, when the father is gone, and then the whirlwind goes into the air, and then it like his face comes through, all that, like that for me, just watching something like that, and then just like how it all kind of unfolds from there, you're just like, holy crap. I just thought that the artwork was ridiculously cool in this show, and then I did like the plot, minus a couple of things, but go ahead.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, so visually, I think this anime is very well done. It does look like Junji Ito's style, which is hard to replicate because his style looks like it's moving in some ways, but it's not. And so, like any adaptation of like a comic or manga, it's hard to like get the artist's intention right. And I think they got it right for the most part. I will say the second episode does have a minor dip in quality animation wise, but that's besides the point. I love this story too, and I think they did a good job adapting it overall. I think that's more of a complaint. I'll get to it. Yeah. But overall, I think they adapt the story well. I think it's welcoming to newcomers. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes with Alyssa, and she's never read this, and she was like kind of into it and disturbed. Yeah. The snail people is like the freakiest thing for me, and so I'm just glad they adapted that well. Yeah. In my opinion, I think especially towards the end, like when they start getting eaten. Yeah. It's messed up. Yeah, it's messed up, and I like it. It's gross enough. And then they also, my favorite story that they adapted was the pregnant women. Okay, yeah. With the corks. I love that. That's so scary. That could be its own movie, in my opinion. Yeah. They definitely they tackled all. They went for all of these things, and you're just like, what? So, there's just a lot that happens. So I think they did a great job. I think it has a good soundtrack. Yeah. Black and white. I'm glad they kept it. Yeah, that was really cool. Okay, so dislikes. But dislikes, I have a few. Yeah, me too. So dislikes, again, I think because it's such it's short episodes that I feel like so much things were crammed in. A lot of times, like sometimes I was getting lost, that I was like, man, this is like all of this is happening so fast. It was getting hard for me to follow along and keep track of everything that was going on. On that note, you see how thick this is? Yeah, exactly. That's not 4 episodes. They they leave room, like they don't leave enough room for things to happen, because like when you read it, it's like some of those stories they don't all happen at the same time. Yeah. They're like separate. Like I like the idea of kind of combining some of the connective tissue just to make it feel less separate. But like I think they connected it too much to where, like you're saying, like it just feels like so much is happening that you kind of miss the horror of one particular story. Like the first snail story and the hare story.
Yeah.
The way those are combined, I think, takes away from each other. Like, it makes it less entertaining.
Yeah, that's true. And so that's why I was, like, really trying to, because I felt like a lot of the things or these symptoms that were happening weren't really developed so much to where I could understand it fully, because it just felt like blow after blow. It was the snail,
Yeah.
I mean, the hare, the snails, the long arms, the pregnant women, all that type of stuff, the whirlwinds, and it's just all, exactly, everything's happening. I'm like, my God, just leave. So that's my biggest complaint.
That's another thing they didn't get across well, is they do try to leave, and I feel like they get across in the manga that, like, oh, you can't leave, and then I feel like the show didn't really explore that as well as it should have.
Yeah.
But.
Okay. Yeah, and then other than that, me just getting used to anime and the type of acting that it is, I was struggling a little bit, but. You know, that's not a critique on the show. That's a critique more so on me as a viewer. But yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy. You're perfect just the way you are,
Thank you.
Daniel.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Episode 2 has a crazy animation dip, though.
Okay.
Like, episode 2 was not animated that well. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Isn't that the one where his
seen the
father
memes.
is like...
It's where that couple, they intertwine and they go...
Yeah.
Honestly, goals.
I know, right? If you're not that, then what are you doing? Okay, so more dislikes for you. Do you have any more?
That's it, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I still think this is one of the cases where the original version of the story is going to be the best. And that's true for, like, a lot of American comics for me as well.
Yeah.
But it opens people up to maybe trying to read the manga or exploring that world, which is cool.
The final frame is really cool, though, because you see the entire village engulfed with just the spiral, and I was like, that is the coolest ending for this.
It's really cool. It's such a cool, like, concept. It's like kind of like that H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu vibes, where it's like something grander than humanity is causing this to happen, which is interesting.
All right, so let's move on now to our second coverage of the night for Hallows Eve is VHS Beyond. Ooh.
What's Beyond?
Bed, Bath, Beyond.
So stupid.
Okay.
Anyways.
6 blood-curdling tapes unleash horror in a sci-fi inspired hellscape, pushing the boundaries of fear and suspense.
This, straight up, is my favorite VHS in the franchise.
That's crazy to say.
I don't know how many movies in we are now, like 7.
Yeah,
There's 7 VHS movies. 2 spinoffs at this point, too.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but yeah. I'll do a quick plot rundown. I don't know how.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you can.
This is an anthology film, so that basically means, for those of you who don't know, it's a bunch of short films all combined together, but we have what is called a wraparound plot, so it kind of, in between each of the anthology films, is a longer film that's connected all together, kind of ties it, bookends it, so to speak. And so that story in this is they're discussing these tapes that were found, essentially leading into all these different short films. But there's one in particular where they're like, hey, if you guys see this, you're going to probably think it's real. And so they're kind of amping that up and then talking about alien abductions and UFOs, kind of like documentary style, in between these shorter, horrifying tales. Yeah, and they each kind of have an alien theme or beyond theme of sorts.
Yeah, that's actually what is pretty cool about this, is that we've seen themes before in VHS, but the
80s.
The 80s.
Ooh.
But
Viral.
in the first,
Viral
Viral was horrible. It's the worst one. In the first 2, they're really just like, here are the clips. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
I think number 1 has the best wraparound story of all time.
Oh yeah, that's the coolest one.
But they've never revisited that. They've never revisited something that is like kind of
like deeper lore.
Yeah, and I don't know. I felt like this would have been easy enough to be like, there are 6 tapes that they bought to see if there is,
I think they're just not concerned about deeper lore anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. It becomes whoever can make the craziest like sub story on
gross.
them. Yeah, is kind of how they
Freak
do
you
it.
out.
Okay, so that going forward, then I'm gonna do favorites like of the.
We'll each pick a favorite and talk about it.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know if I can do that, but the first one is insane. Because it kind of has a zombie.
The cop one.
Yeah, it kind of has a.
Oh, that's probably one of my favorites.
It has
too.
this like zombie
So
feel, but it's not really zombies. They're like aliens, and they just look
It's aliens. The
so cool.
title of that short is Stork.
Oh yeah, the stork was pretty stupid at the end.
No, I like that, dude. I like that whole theme. Like, I don't know. It's
That's so
creepy.
funny. So the
I want to watch more of that
Yeah.
one. I think because it kind of sets up these monster hunting police officers.
Yeah.
I think that'd be an exciting show.
Yeah.
I'd be into
that would be cool. And then I would think, what is the one I need to look at? All this. Say a couple of yours.
So I also really liked Justin Long. For those of you who don't know who that is, he's in a lot of comedies, but he also most recently starred in Barbarian.
Oh yeah.
Had a directorial debut in this, and that was Fur Babies, which is
Yes. Oh, that is. Yeah.
hot off of Good Boy for us. We're digging deep into dog territory.
Yep, we are.
And this one, we kind of have like this PETA pretentious
YouTubers.
group that's like, they taxidermied animals.
Yeah.
Let's get them. And so they kind of break into this lady's dog daycare, and it's really uncomfortable because they're like pretending to be like they have the dog
Interested
dog.
in like yeah.
And long story short, she turns people into dog human hybrids, and it's crazy.
creepy.
And I thought it was directed really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he did a great job. It definitely feels like it takes inspiration from something like Barbarian.
Yeah, exactly.
And it works really well. So I loved that one. I think there could be a whole feature
Yeah.
for that film. Super cool. Maybe not the best special effects, but like they're bad in a good way almost. So I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah, I actually think that one is probably my favorite one, just because like.
Oh really?
Well, because we get off of Good Boy, which is like he's wearing a dog costume, but this lady is literally putting the actual dog on people.
She's raw dogging it.
That's
on people.
insanity. But yeah, and it's just like it was creepy because the like I think the actor's commitment to being the dog now at this point is crazy. And then they show like what dogs do, biting, and that gets even gorier too.
Oh.
So yeah, that one's pretty bad. And then I think the last one was pretty cool. With the girl.
Bad or good?
I thought it was interesting. I wish there was more, but I thought it was.
You said it was your favorite, and then you said it was bad.
No. The last one being. So the dog one is my favorite.
No, you said you're saying the last one was bad.
I'm saying the last one, it left me like, it wasn't horrible, but I kind of liked it. With the girl who like
I liked
catches everything.
From a story standpoint, yeah.
I just wish there was a little bit more that we got out of it, but
it could be. It's an interesting like Twilight Zone kind of story.
Yeah. Okay, so dislikes for you.
Oh, okay. I think we share this dislike. Something that the VHS franchise does from time to time is they'll go, and I think it's part of just having different directors.
Yeah.
So you'll have something that has really cool practical effects for the most part.
Yeah.
Like most of these had decent practical effects. I think the 80s one even had that rat monster had great practical effects there. But then we get to this short, a skydiving one, which conceptually I think is really
so
cool.
cool.
I think some of the like deaths in that are absolutely like terrifying.
They're brutal.
It freaked me out.
I
Like,
had to look away at some
I'm
of them.
kind of scared of skydiving, and now I'm like, more scared.
Exactly.
So I think it was effective. But then there's these CGI aliens, and the spaceship didn't bother me. It was more the actual alien itself.
It just looks
so
bad.
It looks so dumb, and I don't get it, and I don't know why it does the lights thing from freaking it. Like, I don't know.
And it was also,
I wasn't
it looked
into
like
the alien.
PS2 graphics, to be honest. Like, it was bad.
It looked bad.
It was really bad.
It looked. I don't know what went wrong with it, but it looked extraordinarily bad. I didn't like that one at all, really, because of that. Like, it took me out of it. That's kind of it. I really actually liked the Bollywood one.
Okay.
I didn't like it at first.
That one was
but I
just
ended up
random
enjoying
to me.
it.
Like that one didn't feel
I
like
think
it
it's
had
supposed to be
completion.
like a god from. Yeah, I feel like there's a deeper story there, but I would like to see more what the director does. Like I actually looked him up after the fact because I was kind of curious.
Okay. Yeah, I would say the skydiving one was really, really cool, and I was like, oh shoot, this might be my favorite one right here. And then like some of the even death scenes from like pretty much falling from the sky to the ground, and you're like hearing everything and seeing it all. You're just like, I was like scarred. I was like, oh my gosh. But then you're right. Right when that PS2 animation alien comes in, you're like, what the heck? Because it just looks like a chair.
So bad.
It looks like an alien chair, just based off of the body shape. I was just like, oh my gosh. So anyway,
they were probably bummed too.
Yeah.
They were probably like, oh, we could do that with CGI.
No, we got that.
Like, no, we can't.
That's us, dude. We got you. And then it came out like that. They're like, what the hell were you thinking?
Yeah.
It has a decent ending though. I thought the ending was pretty cool. It was just those aliens.
It's still good. It's just the CGI was bad.
And then overall, throughout the like whole thing, I don't know. I just think that the cop out in all of these horror movies is always like, why are you recording this right now, or something like that. Like the justification to have a camera in found footage is always so bad. People never do it right anymore, and I'm just like that always makes me so upset whenever they're like, are you filming? Don't film me. No, why are you filming? Oh, because we have this project coming up. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
I feel like some of them did a okay job justifying
Well,
it.
sure, like the cops. I actually think that the skydiving one was really good. But then the lady, like during the dog one, that was the one that bothered me the most.
There was no justification for
like,
filming
okay.
it.
Like,
and then the caller POV at the end.
Yeah. I mean, that one wasn't horrible. That one, I can get behind that one. Anyway, so overall scare factor for this movie?
Okay. Before we do that.
Okay. You always do this.
I want to talk about the final clip that we see.
Oh.
How good was that? The eggs.
Remind me?
And the camera that goes in the... So it's the end of the wraparound story.
Yeah.
And we're seeing like, oh, we're gonna show you guys this clip, and they show like some of them are actually YouTubers, but they show them that clip and they're like, I don't know if that's fake.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
And then they show it to us with no music, no nothing, and like that to me brought back when we watched VHS for the first time. And like we used to watch like Marble Hornets and all this other found footage stuff that made us feel like, oh, this is real.
Oh
dude.
my
like,
god,
this is real deal.
We thought we were on the dark web on
watching
YouTube.
Yeah. But that last clip made me feel like I was back in those days. I was like, yeah, this could be.
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I like the exploration of aliens altogether. I just wish there was justification. Like in the first film, right? They're like, hey, go grab these VHS tapes for us. And then they start watching all the tapes.
We stole these from the CIA alien archive.
Yeah, exactly. Like, watch 6 of them. Why is there only 2? Like, so, I don't know. But yeah, it was altogether, I would say this is probably my third or second favorite VHS movie. It's pretty good.
Found footage February, everybody.
Yep. Okay, scare factor for this one?
I guess 8. Oh, if this all happened to me, 9. If every single one of these is something I experienced, maybe 10.
Yeah, no, I would say probably about a 9. This was pretty intense. Anyway, cool. Well, guys, that is Uzumaki and VHS Beyond. You can go watch those on AMC Plus or HBO Max. Uzumaki on
Shudder.
Max, Shudder, AMC Plus for Beyond. Yeah, guys, this is the night before Halloween, so get ready. Tomorrow we have a really good finale.
Spooky.
We got 2 more movies coming up, and then Carson and I are going to dissect the entire month as a whole. But guys, if you haven't yet, go like, subscribe, comment, share, do all those things. We're going to be doing video now for this entire season. We're going to be doing video now for this entire season. So, guys, you'll want to stick around because we are going to be doing a lot more cool movies for Season 3 of the Clean Slate podcast. But for now, we will see you tomorrow for Halloween to finish out the finale of 31 Nights of Halloween. Peace.
That's a clean slate.